Welcome to this tutorial on while loops in Python. For the text version of this tutorial, click on the link in the description below, and for more information, visit datascienceunlimited.tech. Loops is where a computer does repetitive tasks. This is where computers become very useful and powerful. Loops can have iteration variables that change each time the loop goes through an iteration. Often loops go through a range of numbers. In Python, you have the ability to iterate over a list of variables, which can be very useful in certain operations. You get two types of loops, namely a for loop and a while loop. Most prefer to use a for loop when possible, as it can be more efficient than the while loop. The while loop has its use cases. In this tutorial, we will study the while loop, and in the next tutorial, we will study the for loop. A while loop in Python is a loop that runs while a certain condition is true. Once the condition changes to false, the loop stops. The conditional statement can be anything that evaluates to either true or false. I will demonstrate this with a diagram of a while loop that counts down from 10 to 1 and then prints launching. Let us go through the diagram step by step. The variable t is set to 10. If t is greater than 0, the loop iterates the code in the while loop, which is printing the value of t and then decreasing the value of t by 1. This is repeated until the value of t is equal to 0. When that happens, the program will continue to print launching to the screen. To define a while loop, we start with the keyword while. Followed by the while keyword is a conditional statement. At the end of this conditional statement is a colon to tell the program that what follows is the code that needs to be iterated over. The code in the body of the while loop needs to be indented, just like the if statement. Once the code is not indented anymore, the while loop code ends and the program continues with the rest of the code. This is the code of our example. The output of this code is a countdown from 10 to 1, and then the word launching. The code in this loop runs 10 times, and each time 1 is subtracted from the variable t. When t reaches 1, it is printed out and then decreased by 1, giving a value of t equals to 0. The while loop runs only when t is greater than 0. Thus, when t reaches 0, the while loop breaks and the code continues. After the while loop, we have the code to print the word launching. In the next tutorial, we will demonstrate how to use the for loop, which is much better suited to an example like this. There is a better way of incrementing or decrementing variables in Python. The long way of incrementing is by using the variable name and setting it equal to the variable plus 1. A more elegant way is to use the plus equal sign and the amount you want to increment the variable with. You can also use this short way to decrease the value of a variable. An infinite loop is a loop that does not stop running. The program is stuck in an infinite loop is used to refer to a program that has entered an infinite loop. If the condition of the while loop can never change to false, it will result in an infinite loop. In this example of an infinite loop, the words "never getting out of this loop" will be printed forever or until the computer runs out of memory. A way to combat an infinite loop is by using the break command. When the break command is encountered, the code breaks out of a while loop. The break statement ends the current loop and jumps to the statement immediately following the loop. We will now look at an example of using the break command. We have our previous infinite loop and we will let it break after 10 iterations of printing. First, we will add a variable I to keep track of the loop's iterations. We will increment the value of I by 1 at each iteration. Then, we will use an if statement that checks for I smaller than 10. Once the value of I is equal to 10, this while loop will execute the break command and break out of the loop. This will allow the program to continue with the code after the while loop and print I am out of the loop on the screen. I will create our infinite while loop and show to you what happens when the program is stuck in an infinite loop. We will run the program in the terminal, and as usual we make sure we are in a directory where the .py Python script is located. We type python3 a space and the name of the Python script with the .py extension. As you can see, the program keeps on printing to the screen. To end the program, we use Ctrl+C. Let us add some code to make the loop stop after 10 executions. We add an iteration variable I, and each time the loop runs, the variable I needs to be incremented. If I is less than 10, we print our message to the terminal. Otherwise, if I reaches the value of 10, we will have the loop exit. We use the break command inside the else statement that will execute once I is equal to 10. The program will continue to print I am out of the loop. When we run the program again, we see that it prints out I might get out of this loop eventually 9 times, and then I am out of this loop once. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next tutorial. Smash that like button if you found the content insightful and subscribe for more content just like this. And click the bell button to get notifications of new videos to stay up to date. See you in the next video.